Hi, my name is Sabrina, and what does Black History Month mean to me? I guess it kind of makes me a little bit disappointed that we still need a Black History Month to celebrate our history and to acknowledge our history. I think we've come far enough to know now that history is just history, and that we should be looking to broaden the curriculum to a fuller and more accurate description of the contributions of the Black community, their inventions, their scientists, and how they've come to either live in the Caribbean or here in the UK. And that's what Black History Month means to me, that a sadness really that we still have to have this month to acknowledge it or just to educate ourselves on our own history.
My name's Valentine. I think it's just important for people, especially within the diaspora, I'd say, to know where we come from and to know the figures that got us to where we are today. I feel like that's quite brief, but if I elaborate, I'm just going to be repeating myself, so that's what Black...
Hi, my name is Awa. I think it's a special time to kind of reflect on what, as a race, we have achieved and almost have memories and look back and reflect at how far we have come so far since over the last 100 years, for example, and to continue improving. So that's what it means to me.
Yeah, my name's Peter, and I'm a good representation of us, especially here in the UK, because it isn't as, widely known as people think it is. So that's why it's important.
Guys, my name is Sarah Jorge. Black History Month to me means it's a celebration of my blackness, and at the same time it's very important because I feel like a lot of Black history has been erased from the history books, and I feel like for us it is also a milestone to not only celebrate what other people that look like us have done, but to also show us that, look, people that can actually do this, like, we've really done this. I feel like our blackness is usually attached to a lot of negativity or a lot of negative undertones such as slavery, and I feel like this is very different, this is very refreshing.
I'm a Gabby man, Yeah man, Black History Month is like very special to me. Black History Month is a thing that we remember our ancestors them, because a lot of people coming down, kids from generation coming down from longer time. So if we just get it deleted like that, my granddaughter or daughter would not really have the opportunity of really know what they are for. We just our we are people from our background of African as ancestors, as though we are here in a different country. You get me? So we have to really keep that culture going, keep it prolonged, because it needing to make our siblings or our kids them carry on that one to other generation and keep on going on and going on. Because Indian, they have their own culture, China have their own culture, the white European have their own culture. So it's our culture. It's where we identify ourselves as African. Yeah, I mean, look here, we are in the world. We are still African. We are Black people, so we have to keep that culture rich. I mean, you can't get it deleted, because the key we go. That's where our ancestors come from. We were born here, are born there, but the root is from there. You get me? So I really I really appreciate that, to really represent myself with that the Black History Month.
So who do I recognise in Black History Month? I would have to say Marcus Garvey, and I know that's very cliched, and I know that we had Marcus Garvey Day and all the celebrations, but no one's actually taken the time to read his doctrines, to read his academic work, and just to recognise how empowering it is for the Black community to talk about freeing yourselves from colonisation, and not just in the physical sense, but mentally, emotionally, and for the sake of your identity and your own culture. So I'd like to recognise him during this Black History Month.
Like, historical figures are important, like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, but I feel like it's also important to acknowledge the new faces in Black history that are currently making history, like the athletes, the politicians, the social speakers. I think that's an important thing for people to recognise at the moment. Yeah, I feel like people like Shelly-Ann and Elaine are people that need to be recognised in Black History Month going forward, especially on behalf of Jamaican and Caribbean people. on behalf of athletes. They're making history that people haven't made for decades, and I feel like, you know, they're not recognised as much as they should be in terms of, you know, their white counterparts in the athletics world. So yeah, I feel like that's important.
The people that I recognise that stand out for me during Black History Month would be the figures such as Muhammad Ali and the great Malcolm X. Those are the people who stand out for me. One, they share the same religion, and that's something that I look forward to, and how they were sort of like how far they have reached, and that's how I'd say their work is still, you know, integrated in our day-to-day lives is something that is very beautiful to me. So those are the figures that I admire.
Most of the black people in education, because, you know, the age that I am, there were no black people in education. There was just either dinner ladies or cleaners, where now we have teachers, professors, lecturers. So, you know, that's a good reputation for people to realise that, you know, we can be in that system. Marcus Garvey would be, mostly probably because he's Jamaican and I am Jamaican, but also, you know, for what he was trying to achieve. I think it's underrated and underestimated what he was doing and putting together. And also, that work I think needs to be done now in this day and age.
Bishop Dag Heward-Mills, who literally is the most inspiring person to me. He's literally been an evangelist, he's been a missionary, well, not really a missionary, but he's evangelized so many people. He's the reason why so many people are saved today, all across the world, and he's just simply amazing. And the second person is Nelson Mandela, because after all that he had to endure and he had to watch his people endure, he chose to forgive his oppressors. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why he is recognized so much and you know, the person that we know him as. And that's why, yeah, I choose to recognize him today.
Recognize, you have many, you know. You have many, even before Marcus Garvey still. You have Zul and all the people there, but they were like more guerrilla warrior. It was like warrior. But the one come down in the 19th century is Marcus Garvey. You know, those are the one now. The one who create the UNIA. It make we as black people now try to make we know ourselves and believe in ourselves, because of slavery we feel like we are down. We didn't really, you know, like we are nothing. We try to even do the colour thing, bleaching, because we don't really respect our colour. Think say if you is lighter, you can go to a level. You get me? So Garvey tries to make say no, we are still people. We are, all I have to do is get educated. This is where the power is. You get me? Educate yourself and read and learn about your ancestors and all the different things. So he's the one who try to educate black people about them culture. You have people like Malcolm X, Luther King, and many others come, Mandela, many others come, but he's the foundation in that era after that, the 19th century coming down. You get me? So he's the one we look at, Marcus Garvey, you know, a lot. And it's funny because he was so powerful, but they don't really talk about him much in book. They don't have no narrative about him, and so what's the reason why? He should be up there. They talk about Martin Luther King birthday and Malcolm X and Mandela, but Garvey is the one they don't talk about. So what's the reason why you don't talk about him? But he's the one because maybe his truthfulness is what go against them who try to colonize our brain. You know, imperialist them, you get me? So for them to talk the truth now and make the world hear, they keep it down. You get me? Put in a vault. So his work doesn't really establish out more unless you go and research to find his work. He wouldn't come on the museum, not at all, nowhere. In the library, you have to search to find that. And Marcus Garvey really. You know what I mean? So the man really look up to really, you know, differently. Marcus Garvey is the one. You have many of them coming out. Even Bob Marley, all them come from Marcus Garvey. This is an ideology, you get me? Him really then deal with it. Most of the leaders follow him. you know. But he was very, because he was outspoken, and it was against the system. So them tried to get rid of him in that farm because he was very outspoken of his people, and the people who colonized them didn't want that. You get me? Because that would be a big black hole towards them. You get me? So that's the reason why we endorse Marcus Garvey a lot. You know, we endorse him a lot. You know, as though you don't have anything in the narrative, anything written about him muchly. It is there, but it keep under the carpet. It doesn't surface. They talk about Malcolm X because he was still a black movement people, but he was more. It wasn't a threat to the system. It was a threat, so they could tolerate him, Mandela, and all those people, but they couldn't tolerate Marcus Garvey. You get me? So he's the one who really we look up to. Really, you know, he's a great leader for black people. Because talk about black people must have their own business, their own shop, their own scientific thing, doctor, lawyer, everything. The only way we can survive is have our own scientists, business, everything, entrepreneur, everything, our own system. If we go work in the current system, we can just go. It's a benchmark there. We can't go too further. Because you might be a team leader or supervisor, but you can't go to a higher level. You get me? I just want a business, you know. Yeah, man.